This is the warning. Before we watch this interview of two MAGA members of Congress on Morning Joe, let's set the stage. I'll interrupt throughout the interview to make a couple of points, but I want to be crystal clear about what it is that you are seeing and why it is so appalling. There are many people who appear on television, who talk about political issues, who are fools. Scott Jennings is an example of a dishonest fool. Scott doesn't know a lot about a lot of things. Scott couldn't have a deep conversation about the history of the country, about the Constitution, about the 20th century. He's a cable news blatherer who is like Mikey from the cereal commercials. He's there to say anything. There are people like Stephen A. Smith who now routinely inveigh about politics, which is, of course, his right as an American citizen. But he, too, is a fool who knows nothing about anything but can't stop talking. That's not Joe Scarborough's problem. He's as deeply read and knowledgeable about American history as I am, which means when he hears what these members of Congress are saying, he appreciates exactly what it is that I'm hearing. And what I'm hearing is members of Congress saying, we have reached an hour of crisis that is so great that we have to get rid of the Constitution of the United States so we can let Elon Musk and his 19-year-old lieutenant named Big Balls take over spending and who gets paid from the United States Congress because the Congress has rung up $36 trillion in debt.
As an Article 1 champion, I'm concerned by what I'm seeing with Elon Musk going around and going from bureaucracy to bureaucracy. And he's seeming to do like sort of line item vetoes, saying, well, we don't want this, we don't want that. I'm wondering, are you all concerned at all about this infringing upon your Article 1 powers? Because you all, as you know, you authorize it and then you appropriate it, and then it moves forward for the president and the executive branch to spend it. Are you concerned now, or is there a moment, is there a red line Elon Musk could cross that would cause you real constitutional concerns?
Listen, I think what President Trump is doing by appointing Elon Musk is absolutely brilliant.
Joe Scarborough appreciates that Article 1 of the Constitution is not transferable. It is not fungible. And it is not debatable. Every single member of Congress has already taken a position on the debate when they swore an oath of allegiance to preserve the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. This is not a debate about provisions in the law of the sea treaty. This is not a technical disagreement about a provision in the Farm Bill. This is not a fiscal disagreement about tax policy, where one side says the top rate ought to be 39% and the other 35%. This, what is being said, is a radical repudiation of the most elemental idea in American history. And so what Joe Scarborough knows is that Elon Musk, he does not have the right to spend the people's money. He is operating outside the Constitution, outside the law. He has not been commissioned. He has not been confirmed. He has not been appointed, and he has not been elected. And yet, what we see from Scarborough is a lack of energy and passion. Joe Scarborough could have instigated a debate, could have said, what are you talking about?
President Trump is doing an amazing job by actually telling us, hey, we have a problem. And look at what we're uncovering. So I'm happy we're having the discussion.
Well, and I'm happy we're having the discussion, too, about waste, fraud, and abuse, about using best practices.
Here's the deal. Article 1 is Article 1 for a reason. The people the foundation of government of the people, by the people, for the people. Choose the elected representatives who spend the people's money. Elon Musk and a 19-year-old named Big Balls, and until yesterday, their colleague, a young Nazi whose social media feed is filled with praise of eugenics and hatred towards Indian engineers. These are the people for whom we are ready to suspend the American Constitution. And Joe Scarborough's approach is like, hey, let's hear him out, as opposed to confronting the fascists who are on the screen 2 months after he called Trump Hitler and then went to the Berghoff, got on his knees, capitulated, and set off an avalanche of media capitulation. Each company racing the next to be the first to get in line, to be fair, which means being nice. Nice to Trump. Accommodating to all of the craziest un-American ideas. What's next? Troops in the street? Already there are news accounts of ICE agents boarding school buses, seizing little children, and of course, American citizens with brown skin speaking Spanish from, let's say, Puerto Rico, being seized by their government and incarcerated for no cause whatsoever. These are American citizens who do not have to show their papers on the streets of America. Yet, over and over and over again, America's media, in the form of powerful corporate companies, many owned by billionaires, have capitulated out of fear that the next merger will be denied, out of fear that the $25 million salary might go away, out of fear that I might be frivolously sued. And so the coward rules the day. And when a radical Republican member of Congress comes on the television and says it's a good thing that Elon Musk and a couple of children have seized control of America's U.S. Treasury Department payment system without oversight, without accountability, because we're in a crisis, and he hears them out, it was on his show that he marked out a fence line to the Washington elite about what you could say and what you could not say, what was fair to say and unfair to say, knowing that you would have Joe Scarborough to deal with if you got out of line about Joe Biden. He made it perfectly clear. Became the first television host to say F you to his audience live on air.
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
And now he does it with a little less bombast. But make no mistake, it's still a F you. Because he should have some bombast when it comes to the defense of the Constitution. Unlike most television hosts, he swore an oath to defend. And his swearing of that oath doesn't end with the end of his tenure. Once you take that oath, it endures for the rest of your life, Joe Scarborough. And so, when a member of Congress from the institution you served, that you have walk-in privileges to sit on the floor, to go on the floor, sends 2 members to go on your show and say, hey, we'll let Elon decide. You ought to do a lot better than making the point, hey, I'm an Article 1 guy. You made that point, but we don't know where you stand because you're not standing. You're laying down. In an hour, when it is time to stand up, too many people are laying down. Too many fools are leading the charge, like this one from New York.
We will win. 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 We won't rest. We won't rest. We won't rest. We won't rest.
We will win. This is The Warning. I'm Steve Schmidt. This is The Warning, and I invite you to subscribe on our Substack, on our YouTube channel. Follow us. Welcome to the community.